Hey guys, it's Angela with Create Your Future. So in our video today, I am talking about identity, what you are identifying with and how that is going to determine what you manifest. So most of us are looking at the 3D experience, and that is what we are using to create our identity. So, if we have a person that's broken up with us, then we are creating an identity that relationships are painful for us and we're not worthy of a relationship. We're not worthy of being with the person that we want. If we have been turned down for a job, we usually come out of that experience and think we're not good enough to have a job like that. We're not good enough to make that kind of salary. We look at the 3D and we allow that to be the feedback that creates our self-worth and our identity. And that is backwards, okay? It's not how reality is really supposed to operate. Reality starts from the internal space, and then you create what you prefer, you create the outcome, the desire that you want, then it shows up for us, right? So let's talk about what the 3D actually is. The 3D is an illusion. Okay, it's just coming from your internal state. It's being reflected out for you on that screen of light so that it's discernible by your senses. But it's just an illusion coming from within you, coming from a state within you that has been created by thoughts, feelings, and emotions. The 3D is also old news, right? It's reflecting yesterday's thoughts. It's reflecting last month's thoughts. It's old, it's past. And so it's an old reflection coming out that began with your internal state. So it is not what we look at to decide what we can or cannot have, what we can or cannot be, who we can be with, who we can't be with, the money that we can have, the health that we can have. We don't use the 3D to tell us what our life can be, right? The only thing that we can use the 3D for is to maybe look at what's showing up. And if you are conscious and working on mindset, it is a good indicator to remind you what you've been thinking about and to make changes. So sometimes that can be helpful. But creating your identity and your self-worth from the 3D that's all, it's just a lie, right? It's a lie when you look at something outside of yourself and decide, oh, now I can't have that. Now I can't be that. Now I can't do that. All that you're seeing is just an old story that is reflecting out now. So your job is to create an identity that supports you, your worth, and supports the story of you being in the new experience that you want to have. I have a quote here from Neville Goddard, and I am reading. So this is actually like the big collection of Neville Goddard, but I am reading the chapter Power of Assumption. All right. So Neville says, you must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. Therefore, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you already are what you want to be and then live by faith in this assumption. So your identity is going to come from you creating the stories that you prefer about yourself and then living in faith. Faith, that's the substance, that's the evidence, it's your internal state, living from this place. Now remember, the 3D is old, right? It's showing you an old story. So you know that there's going to be a little bit of a delay between your state now and when the new story shows up and projects out. But in faith, you begin to identify with whatever it is that you want. Health, that relationship, the job, the income, anything at all. You in faith choose an identity that is aligning you with that experience. So I have a little story. I have shared this before in another video, but it's about the actress Cicely Tyson. She was very popular in the 1970s, and I saw an interview with her that was just amazing. But she was telling how in the 70s she had wanted the lead role in a particular movie, and she just had her mind set on it. In fact, she felt like that role had been created for her. She felt so strongly about it. And so she went to an auditioned, and after the audition, she was told, "We don't think you're right for this role, and we're going to have to pass you by. I'm sorry." And in the interview, many years later, this interview, she said after she was turned down, she went home and began to rehearse her lines. She didn't care what the 3D told her, right? She didn't care what the producer and director told her. She went home and started to prepare for the role. And several weeks after that happened, her agent called and said, "Well, guess what? They have changed their mind. They've decided to go with you for that role." And she said, "Yeah, I'm ready. I've been practicing." And her agent said something like, "Well, you don't seem very excited or surprised." And she said, "No, I knew all along. I knew all along that was my role. I'm ready. When do we start?" Her mindset was so strong that she fully identified with being chosen for that role and being in that role and playing that character. She went home and began practicing her lines. I think that's pretty amazing. She was embodying that. And as Neville says, you have to be conscious and know what health is. You have to be conscious and know what security is, right? You have to consciously create that within you by affirming that and deciding that's who you are, identifying with the role that you want to play in essence. So you create that mindset, you create the mindset that supports anything that you want. You create the story internally about the relationship, the health, the job, and you begin to identify with it. That means you put your attention on it. That means you focus on it. That means you think from the perspective of the experience already being in your 3D reality, being done. You think about what it's going to feel like. What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? What are you going to do when that experience is in your 3D, right? From the mindset, it's already done, it's already yours. That's how you create an identity around an experience that you want. And so the biggest takeaway, I guess, from my video is I want you to identify with being victorious. Get that so impressed in your subconscious so that no matter what is showing up in your 3D, no matter what your moment is looking like, you have a deeper belief within you that you're going to get your desire. You're going to get anything that you want. And I've got a few affirmations here. So everything is always working out for me. That covers any experience, right? No matter what your specific person has said, no matter what the doctor report is, no matter what the bank account looks like, everything is always working out for me. Somehow, some way, everything works out for me. Everything is coming from within me. Therefore, any situation can turn around when my mindset changes. Guys, anything can change. Anything. You have to know that within you because you may come up against someone that says, never, no, no way. But that doesn't matter because it's your mindset. So anything can change, anything at all. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. I remind myself of that all the time, and you should do the same thing. Everything is possible. Anything is possible, right? Nothing is ever impossible. It's your mindset that's going to either decide possible or impossible. Go with possible. Any person in any situation can change based on my beliefs. So guys, any person can show up differently when you begin to identify as the person that is having a new experience with someone. Any person can change. I think Neville has said that we awaken the version that we want to see when we put our attention on that. And that is your identity, right? You're the person that brings out the best in everyone. You are the person that causes someone to be better. You are the person that, whatever you want to put at the end of that, it's you, your identity. Begin to create an identity that supports you being victorious, being positive, being successful, being anything that you want with any person that you want, always. So guys, Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. It's based on you. It is based on who you are identifying as. What person are you identifying as? Be victorious. Be the one that gets anything they want. Be the person that can have to or be anything. All right, I hope this really encouraged you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.